many other
officials, right? Arab.
Hello there and welcome to WION Live Broadcast from London. I'm Ollie Barrett, and in the next half hour we've got updates on the biggest stories developing all around the world. First up, the headlines. The Taliban captures the city of Faizabad in northern Afghanistan, the 9th provincial capital to fall to the militant group in less than a week. Meanwhile, thousands of people are fleeing towards Kabul and other relatively safer centres. A crucial multilateral meeting on the Afghanistan peace process is held in Doha. The US, UN, European Union, China, Pakistan, along with other participants, call for a political settlement to achieve enduring peace in the country. Wildfires kill at least 42 people in Algeria. 25 soldiers are said to be among the casualties. Algeria joins a string of countries to be hit by major blazes in recent weeks, fanned by sweltering temperatures and bone-dry conditions. More than 40 people are feared buried under debris after a major landslide in the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh's Kinnaur district. The Army and the National Disaster Response Force have been called in for rescue work. And after signing a contract with Paris Saint-Germain, Lionel Messi attends his first official PSG press conference. Messi says he's dreaming of winning a 5th Champions League with PSG. And we will start in Afghanistan, where the Taliban continues to expand its control. The militants have seized 2 more Afghan cities. Tens of thousands of people have fled their homes to try and find a safe haven. The latest development is that the Taliban have captured the city of Faizabad, located in northern Afghanistan. This is the 9th provincial capital that has fallen to the Taliban in less than a week. According to one Afghan lawmaker, the Afghan security forces and the Taliban have engaged in intense fighting in the region for the last few days. Both sides have suffered heavy losses. Earlier, the Taliban made another strategic capture by taking control of Pul-E-Khumri, the capital of Baghlan province. It is located only 200 kilometres north of Kabul. Afghan lawmaker Mahmoud Ahmadzai said that after about 2 hours of fighting, the security forces were overpowered and retreated. The Taliban have also taken control of Farah city, which is located in western Afghanistan. The governor's office and police headquarters were captured. The city of Kunduz, which is around 300 kilometres north of Kabul, has been taken by the insurgents as well. Hundreds of Afghan soldiers who retreated to the airport outside Kunduz have surrendered to the Taliban. In Kandahar, Afghan forces countered the Taliban's offensive with an airstrike. Afghanistan's defence ministry claims that 25 Taliban fighters were killed and 13 were wounded in the strike. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has flown to the northern city of Mazar-e-Sharif. An official statement released by the palace says that Ghani will check the general security situation in the northern zone. He's likely to hold talks with Mazar's longtime strongman and an infamous warlord to discuss defence in the city. It comes as the Taliban militants continue to inch closer to the city's outskirts. India has brought back 50 of its nationals from Mazar-e-Sharif. A special flight arrived in New Delhi early today. India has evacuated diplomats from its Mazar consulate. Around 1,500 Indian nationals are involved in various development projects in Afghanistan. WION has been reporting from the very heart of the conflict. When it comes to Mazar-e-Sharif, if the city falls to the Taliban, it would come as a major blow to the Afghanistan government. WION correspondent Anas Malik is there as the fighting intensifies. He sent us this report from Mazar-e-Sharif.
I'm standing in Pul-E-Khumri. The area behind me, if my camera person can follow as well, these are the undeclared or unmarked boundaries that are that of the Taliban. The roadblocks that you see, that is marked, that is a territory that is marked, that is assumed of the Taliban. You can hear there is intermittent firing that is ongoing, and there is use of heavy weapon as well. There is use of heavy machinery by the Afghan army. This is just the outskirts of Mazar-e-Sharif city. There is a renewed offensive by the Taliban that has been launched, and this is a bid to push back the Taliban from entering Mazar city. Anas Malik in Mazar-e-Sharif for WION World is One.
In Washington, D.C., President Joe Biden once again defended his decision to pull troops out of Afghanistan. He made the comments at the White House at a time when the security situation on the ground in Afghanistan is rapidly deteriorating and the number of casualties is rising. Joe Biden said the US will keep its commitment to provide air support, but insisted Afghan leaders must come together and fight for themselves.
No. Look, we spent over $1 trillion, over 20 years. We trained and equipped with modern equipment over 300,000 Afghan forces. And Afghan leaders have to come together. We lost death and injury, thousands of American personnel. They've got to fight for themselves, fight for their nation. The United States, I'll insist we continue to keep the commitments we made of providing close air support, making sure that their Air Force functions and is operable, resupplying their forces with food and equipment, and paying all their salaries. But we're going to continue to keep our commitment. But I do not regret my decision.
Meanwhile, a multilateral meeting on the peace process in Afghanistan has been held in Doha. It was attended by US envoy to Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, along with attendees from the United Nations, China, the UK, Pakistan, Uzbekistan and the European Union. The participating parties called for a political settlement to achieve enduring peace. All representatives agreed that a political solution through negotiation is the only way out for Afghanistan. Later, the so-called Troika will meet. Talks will involve the US, China, Russia and Pakistan. India, Indonesia and Turkey will also participate in a regional conference on Afghanistan in Doha on Thursday. The advisor to the Afghan National Security Council, Javid Faisal, has said that peace is the Afghan government's top priority. The Afghan Security Council vowed not to just recapture its territory, but also to protect its citizens.
You cannot negotiate with someone who does not believe in negotiations. They just believe in one thing: war, war, and war. And what war brings? Death, destruction, failure. And it kills the prospects for peace. So that's why we are calling on the Taliban and their advisors, the countries behind them, to come to the peace talks.
Well, as the Taliban tightens its grip on captured territory in Afghanistan, the United Nations fears war crimes may have been committed. The UN says the Taliban's sweeping takeover of cities and districts has struck fear and dread into the population. The UN Human Rights Chief says there have been reports of summary executions, attacks against government officials and their families, military use and destruction of homes, schools and clinics, and the laying of a large number of IEDs.
The United Nations has warned that reports of violation and civilian casualties in Afghanistan by Taliban fighters may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. The stark warning comes as the Taliban tighten their grip on captured territory in the country, now controlling 65% of it, a European Union official said on Tuesday. President Ashraf Ghani has called on regional strongmen to support his government, following a stunning string of Taliban gains after US-led foreign forces pulled out. UN Human Rights Office spokeswoman Ravina Shamdasani warned of the worsening situation.
Civilian casualties are continuing to mount, and reports of violations that may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity continue to emerge. We all know that urban warfare results in scores of civilians being killed. We have seen it before, too many times. In Afghanistan, since the 9th of July, in 4 cities alone, and these are Lashkargah, Kandahar, Herat, and Kunduz, at least 183 civilians have been killed, and 1,181 have been injured, including children.
Taliban and government officials have confirmed that their Islamist group has overrun 6 provincial capitals in recent days. The European Union officials said on Tuesday about 400,000 Afghans have been internally displaced in recent months, and there has been an increase in numbers attempting to flee. Shamdasani said those who remain are terrified.
The people of Afghanistan are speaking of their deep fears of a return to the worst of the human rights violations of the past. Women, minorities, human rights defenders, journalists, as well as others who are particularly vulnerable, need particular protection. There are very real risks of renewed atrocities against ethnic and religious minorities.
The United States will complete the withdrawal of its forces at the end of this month, under a deal agreed with the Taliban. In return, the Taliban has promised not to attack foreign forces as they withdraw, but has not agreed a ceasefire with government forces.
Now, as the easing of travel restrictions continues here in Britain, Heathrow Airport says passenger numbers surged in the month of July. They're still 80% below pre-pandemic levels, though, as several barriers to travel remain in place. In July, over 1.5 million travellers passed through Heathrow, making it the busiest month since the beginning of the pandemic. Heathrow and airlines like British Airways have criticised the government for not easing travel curbs quickly enough, despite the country's fast vaccine rollout. Airport authorities and the airlines are also hoping for the cost of coronavirus testing for passengers to go down. They want more countries to be added to the government's list of low-risk countries. And Heathrow is calling on Britain and the US to reach an agreement to allow Britons to travel to the United States. US carrier JetBlue was due to start flying between London and New York later this week. Last month, the British government allowed fully vaccinated citizens to travel to medium-risk countries without needing to quarantine on return. The move pushed passenger numbers up by 74% compared to July 2020. Since the beginning of August, Britain has opened its borders to fully vaccinated people from the United States and the European Union. Shifting our focus now to the African nation of Algeria, where at least 42 people, including 25 soldiers, have been killed in raging wildfires that have erupted in the east of the Algerian capital, Algiers. According to reports, over 70 fires have been reported across 16 Algerian provinces in the last few days.
Thick plumes of smoke blanketed northern Algeria on Tuesday as forest fires ripped through the region, killing at least 42 people, including over 24 soldiers deployed to fight the blazes. Residents said the soldiers were killed in different areas, with some trying to extinguish the flames and others cut off by the spreading fire. The Defense Ministry said more soldiers suffered severe burns. Last week, an EU atmosphere monitor said a heatwave had fueled massive blazes across Turkey and Greece as the Mediterranean becomes a wildfire hotspot. Dozens of fires have raged across northern Algeria since Monday night, which the government has blamed on arsonists without providing more details on the allegations. Several homes have been left burning as families escape to hotels, youth hostels, and university residences. Residents have tried to smother burning patches with tree branches or hurled water from plastic containers in a desperate attempt to extinguish the fire. The Algerian Interior Minister said firefighters and the army were still trying to contain the blazes, though dense smoke has hampered their visibility. He has vowed to compensate those affected by the blazes.
Greece continues to bake under one of its worst heat waves in decades. Firefighters battle raging blazes across the country. They're trying to bring the wildfires ravaging the island of Evia for the 8th day in a row under control. Assistance is being given by teams of firefighters from several countries, including a 75-strong team from Slovakia. Over 1,000 firefighters, 9 aircraft and 200 vehicles have been sent to Greece from other European countries to assist. The Greek government's approved a preliminary $586 million aid package for Evia and the Attica region around Athens. More than 500 forest fires have been burning across Greece, prompting evacuations of thousands of residents. Meanwhile, in Turkey, a Ukrainian helicopter with night vision capability fought a new blaze that broke out in the popular holiday resort of Bodrum. Turkey has been battling multiple blazes for nearly 2 weeks now. It's already wreaked havoc on thousands of hectares of land in the Mediterranean and Aegean provinces, killing at least 8 people. In what appears to be one of the largest cryptocurrency heists ever, hackers have stolen $600 million in cryptocurrency from blockchain site Pul-E Network. Pul-E Network, which specializes in transferring cryptocurrency, announced that hackers had cracked its security and stolen tokens like Binance and Ox Polygon. In a letter posted on Twitter, it urged the thieves to return the hacked assets, which belong to thousands of community members. Pul-E Network posted online addresses used by the hackers and called on miners of affected blockchain and crypto exchanges to blacklist tokens coming from them. Cryptocurrency thefts are at an all-time high. As of the end of April, cryptocurrency thefts, hacks and fraud totaled $432 million. Analysts say that cryptocurrency hacks make up more than 60% of total hack and theft volume. That is a big jump from just 2019, when such hacks were virtually non-existent. Relations between Canada and China are at rock bottom after a Chinese court jailed Canadian businessman Michael Spavor for 11 years. Spavor was found guilty of spying by China, but Canada has condemned the case as politically motivated. The Dandong court said that Spavor was convicted of espionage and illegally providing state secrets. He was detained in 2018 along with compatriot Michael Kovrig on what Canada says are trumped-up charges. They were detained after Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou was arrested in Canada on a US extradition warrant. Both countries have accused each other of politicizing legal cases. Entrepreneur Spavor and Kovrig, who is a former diplomat, were formally charged with spying in June last year, and their separate trials took place in March. They've had almost no contact with the outside world since their detention. Canadian diplomats who were barred from entering Spavor's 3-hour trial in March were present for today's verdict and sentencing.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this decision rendered after a legal process that lacked both fairness and transparency. Our thoughts are with Michael and his family during this difficult time. We've maintained from the beginning that Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig are being detained arbitrarily, and we will continue to call for their immediate release. And we will continue to work tirelessly to secure their freedom.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau condemned the sentencing, calling it unacceptable and unjust, and he claimed the trial violated the minimum standard required by international law. While Beijing has insisted the detention of the two Canadians is lawful, it calls Meng's case a purely political incident. Meng's extradition hearings began last week in Vancouver after nearly 3 years of court battles and diplomatic sparring. Meng is the daughter of Chinese tech giant Huawei's founder and CEO Ren Zhengfei. She is fighting extradition to the United States, where she's accused of defrauding HSBC Bank by misrepresenting the relationship between Huawei and Skycom, a subsidiary that sold telecom gear to Iran. That deal put HSBC in jeopardy as it risked breaching US sanctions against Tehran. Meng's legal team deny the allegations and maintain that the US case is flawed. After his emotional exit from FC Barcelona, Lionel Messi has joined the star-packed Paris Saint-Germain. Messi, a 6-time winner of the Ballon d'Or for Europe's best football player, has signed a 2-year contract with an option for a 3rd year. PSG's already formidable attack includes Brazil's Neymar and France's Mbappe. Messi arrived in Paris with his family, waving to hundreds of fans outside the airport. Supporters also assembled outside the hotel where Messi is staying.
Je suis venu accueillir mon idole, mon idole Lionel Messi. Voilà, c'est mon joueur préféré. Donc c'est ça quoi. Je suis un fan de Barcelone. J'aime le PSG aussi. Voilà, c'est ça.
Earlier, Lionel Messi attended his first official PSG press conference alongside the club president Nasser Al-Khelaifi.
Decir que estoy muy feliz. Todos saben mi salida.
I am very happy. Everyone knows how I left Barcelona a few days ago. It was really hard because I spent many years there, and it's hard to make a move after so long. But as soon as I arrived here, I felt extremely happy. I am very eager and excited to start training. Honestly, I want this to pass quickly. I'm enjoying the move so far with my family, with my friends, but I really want to start training because I really want to get to know my teammates and the coaching staff and start this new phase. I think I'm joining a team that is practically complete, beyond the big signings arriving this season. In the last few years, this club has come very close to winning the Champions League. I can help by trying to give it my all. I've come here with a lot of energy and drive. My goal and my dream is to win another Champions League, and that's what we will try to do.
And that is all we have time for on today's WION Live broadcast from London. Do stay tuned for more news and updates, and thanks very much indeed for watching.
This is right, Arab.